Shalom, welcome to my channel, The Hebrew Bible. This is Moses Gumadi, and in this video, we'll talk about the 10 plagues in Egypt very briefly. Otot, Moftim, right? So these are the signs and wonders. Although we say plagues, that's not the word that's used, but these two words here on the screen, Otot and Moftim, signs and wonders. Let's read Exodus chapter 7 verse 3. We read, God says, Ve'ani Akshe et lev paro, so I will harden, right, the heart of Pharaoh. Vehirbeti, and I will multiply. Rab is great, so vehirbeti, that is, I will multiply, I will make it great. Et ototai, my signs. Ve'et moftai, Mofetai, which is my wonders, Be'eretz Mitzrayim, in the land of Egypt. So the words are Otot. Otot is signs in the plural, which is the singular of this form is Ot, Aleph, Vav, and Tav. This word is connected to the word Et, the direct object, direct definite object marker. Okay, oath, et, they are related. Oath also means a sign. Okay, now another word that we have, which is wonders, is mofetim. Mofetim, we say mof, slightly we pronounce the schwa. This is a vocal schwa because this previous vowel is long. Mofetim, wonders. And the singular form for this is mofet, which is a wonder. So otot and moftim, ot ve mofet. These terms are used regularly in many verses, also in Psalms, well, apart from Deuteronomy verse that I'm going to read. It is used in Psalms, it is used in Jeremiah, etc. So in reference to Egypt and also to in other circumstances. But these two go together. So Vayiten Adonai otot umoftim gedolim. So God sent, Hashem sent his signs and great signs and wonders. Right? Veraim b'mitzraim Befaro uchol beto le'einenu. And so he sent these signs and wonders upon Egypt, upon Pharaoh, and upon all, upon Mitzrayim, the Egypt, upon Pharaoh and all his house before our eyes. Right? So that's what has happened. So these are the two signs when it comes to that. So what are the signs and wonders? So these signs and wonders, I do not know if you are able to observe the difference in color between these three and the next three, and then the following 3 and 1. So they have a structure of 3, 3, 3, 1. Okay, there are 10 here listed, all of them starting from chapter 7 onwards through to chapter 12. We have all these 10 signs or wonders listed. First is waters turning into blood. Now, I have indicated here whether God actively did it or did he do it via an agent, like as in Moses or Aaron, etc. And I put the people as well, just to show the role of them. Obviously, Moses and Aaron were involved throughout, but their specific involvement is mentioned when hand or staff are used. So water turns into blood. This is a very interesting one. In one of my previous video, I mentioned how the agency of God is transferred from God to Moses and Moses to Aaron through their respective staffs. God tells Moses to tell Pharaoh, hey, I'm going to stretch my staff and turn the water into blood. And then God tells Moses to tell Aaron to stretch his staff, although Moses was told to take his staff. So God says, I will stretch the staff. God tells Moses to take his staff. And God tells Moses to tell Aaron to stretch his staff when the miracle was actually done. So if the final guy who is actually stretching the staff is Aaron, not Moses, but Moses has a staff in his hand. But when Moses speaks to Pharaoh in the name of God in the first person, he says, I will stretch my hand. Those are the words of God. So, that's how this is a very interesting phenomenon. But the next couple of, these signs, both frogs and dust becoming lice, Aaron uses his staff. In the following three, we don't see Aaron's involvement at all. Aaron's involvement stops here, right? Well, Aaron was there, but no staff is used. But here in 4, neither Moses nor Aaron used their staff in these two occasions. God directly sends for this swarm and the plague. It says God sent it. Okay, so although I have not indicated, God sends it. Maybe by the word, etc. My point is there is no apparent physical involvement as such. He sends it. That's it. And in the case of the 6th one here, Moses was told to use his hand to throw this ash, from the furnaces into the air, so that they will cause boils and like blisters upon people. The next 3, interestingly, Moses is involved, his staff is involved, and the last one is again his hand is involved. So there's a bit of a pattern here. There's a 4 here, Moses is involved here, 3, Aaron is involved. The first one, all 3 staffs are connected. And here in these 2, where neither Moses nor Aaron are involved, God's agency is exercised straight away without any physical connection. But in the end, the last one, we read that God himself went and killed the firstborn of all of Egypt. And people too had a role. But so far in all these cases, people were simply, observing. Well, they were looking. But here when I say observe, they had to keep the Passover. They had to apply the blood, so they had certain things to do, which of course was not involved in the death of the firstborn, but to protect themselves. But God goes in and does the last sign. Now, why are there 10 signs and wonders? Well, a lot of explanations are given. One of the explanations they give the rabbis is, of course, the correspondence to what is known as the 10 Sephirot, if you want to make that connection. So this is the 10 Sephirot in the esoteric system of the rabbis. And, of course, the last thing, when people basically do it, when the people do it themselves, maybe that's the Malkut. Or some people connect, I've seen the Chabad website connecting the death of the firstborn to the Keter, and the water's turning into blood to the bottom, and they basically reverse. So we don't know how to do that, but just I'm trying to suggest there seems to be some indication in those lines. Okay, now let's focus back on the Hebrew meanings, Hebrew words. For the frogs here, the word is Sephardaim, Rain, which are frogs. So this is not Sephardim. Okay, this is Sephardim is Sephardic Jews. It comes with a Samek, and there is no Ain here. Sephardeim. So that's the word, frogs. So it is not the same. Don't get confused. All right. Okay. The next one is the flies. And most of the English Bibles have, in this case, a swarm of flies. But you may notice in some of the Bibles they put these flies in the italics because there are no flies. This is basically a mixed swarm or a diverse horde. People actually say these are animals. They could be animals, could be small animals, maybe raccoons, maybe like rats or whatever. I don't know. Bandicoots, as they call. I don't know what they are. They may be a mixture of animals. But a lot of translations, including Jewish translations, also translate, some Christian translations do translate them as a multitude of animals or a mixed up animals, a diverse horde, etc. So the word is arov, ain, resh, bet. These are the root consonants, but it means a mixed swarm or a horde. Now you may have heard of this word erev rav. Erev rav means mixed multitude. So the multitude corresponds to this rav, means great. Okay, but this mixed bit is coming from erev. Erev is mixed. So arov also means mixed. So that's the connection we see. Now, but the story is not end here. And erev, actually with a segol, erev is evening. So we read in Genesis chapter 1 verse 5, for example, about then was the evening and the morning were the first day. So Vayhi erev, Vayhi boker yom echad. Erev is evening there. Boker, of course, is morning. Erev tov, boker tov. So these are the wishes, like people wish them nowadays in the modern Hebrew. Another one is orev with a cholam on the first letter. Orev is a raven, of course there is a difference between a raven and a crow, but probably they are the same family. Raven, orev is a raven. Why? It is a bit dark. Evening is a bit dark. But why is this mixed? Maybe this is like the intersection just at the time, at twilight, maybe, erev, right? So the between the day and the night, of course, between the day, yom v'layla, and between these two there is a dark, a mixed part of it, a mixed part. So that's the mixture. There is a connection, you could say, to the evening, but then evening is also dark. A raven is a dark, and Arav is also Arabia. This word is used for Arav as in Arabia. For example, let's take this example in Jeremiah 25:24. Ve'etkol malche Arav, all the kings of Arabia, ve'etkol malche ha'erev hashochnim b'midbar. So all those who are dwelling in the midbar, which is the wilderness, who are they? The kings of Arav, the kings of Arabia, and Malche HaErev. Who are these? Malche Arav, Malche HaErev. So Malche HaErev is translated as generally a mixed people, is how they are translated. Mixed people, Erev, again comes from the same thing that we mentioned here. Erev, Rav, Erev. Right? That's what is going on, but Erev. Okay, so that brings us to the end of this video. Thank you for watching. Please do like the video and subscribe to my channel. Click the bell icon for notifications. Also, please do comment below, and I will see you again with another video as soon as I can. Thank you very much.